Hello, everybody. I am so excited you're all here today. We are really have put a lot of time into this, and we've been spending a lot of time getting ready for this webinar and the pre-launch of my upcoming HR community. And so we are going to cover a lot of fun things today, and I'm really excited to hear from all of you and to learn more about each of you. So we're going to get started. Any questions that you have, please put them in the Q&A box. We're going to be answering as many as we can about most of these things. Any specific questions, we're probably going to be handling those offline, but let me know. Again, welcome. We're super excited you're here, and I'm really excited to meet you all. So let's get started. All right. So the agenda today is going to be who I am, how I got here, a bit about my background and the process that I've gone through in the building out of my HR experience and background, from a HR assistant, even before that, when I didn't even know what HR was, up through my HR experience in-house, and then through the process of building out CYB Human Resources, which we are thriving and loving our life every day here doing this. And I'm excited to share that with you. Day one as an HR assistant is one of my favorite stories. How do you want to advance your HR career? That's something that's so important, and it's really challenging sometimes to figure out what that looks like for you. Why did I start working with small businesses? Hint, because they're the most fun to work with. Honestly, I've been in-house at bigger companies, but they are definitely my favorite. Working for myself versus working in-house, this is a great one too. So there's lots of pros and cons for both of these. It definitely takes it's a different kind of vibe and a different kind of person, in my opinion, that prefers in-house versus working for themselves. They're both amazing types of people, but it's definitely just a different process and experience to go through. And why we need an HR community. I have needed and wanted an HR community for so long, and being able to build this out right now at this point in my career I'm overjoyed. I'm so excited, getting a little emotional because this is so exciting for me. All right. So most people I talk to, when they ask how you got into HR, my response is typically that I fell into HR, because that is typically the response for most people in HR. I didn't even know what HR was before I, graduated college and took those last courses. So I've been in the HR field for over 15 years. In-house, I've worked with multi-site companies, businesses, 20 to 500 employees. And now we specialize at CYB in small business. We'll get to that a little bit, but I just like them a little bit better. No offense if you're from a big company. Small business HR, risk mitigation, specializing in the build out of the HR infrastructure for successful scalability and continued growth. A little bit about just where I've been. I'm from New Jersey. I'm a Jersey girl. I lived in Florida, in Miami, Florida, Oklahoma, Tulsa, shout out. That's where I started my business, and I love it there. And I'm now in Denver, Colorado. So we've done a definitely transition across the board, and building out CYB at each location as we're continuing to grow is something that's really exciting. And again, this is the opportunity I'm wanting to provide to other HR professionals, which is the opportunity that I got when I first started out, working under or working alongside these high-level HR experts and just not knowing anything they were talking about, and being able to learn that way, getting thrown into crazy meetings that I definitely had no business being in as like an HR assistant with 4 months experience, but it was amazing. So that experience is what I'm really trying to provide to incoming HR experts or HR professionals looking to move into an HR role. And then I would love to have higher level HR experts of my level, and even above and below and across the board, with different experience, because I want to really be able to build that team and build a group that we can come in and chat about. So day one as an HR assistant, this is one of my favorites. So I did not know what I was getting myself into. I had read a book. I had taken a few labor relations classes in college, because I didn't go to my career center until like really the last minute. I got HR, and I majored in psychology, and I graduated and said, okay, now what? And I can thank my dad for, saying HR seems like it would be a good fit for you. I agree. Why don't we kind of start poking around there? And I got an opportunity to work as an HR assistant, and it was incredible. Like I said, I worked underneath 5 high-level HR experts, HR directors, and they put me to work. It was on-the-job training in the moment. I didn't know what was going on, but I had to just work alongside them, and I did what they told me to do, and I followed their example, and it was incredible. Again, the best way to learn is from the experts around you. I would not be where I am today if I didn't have these strong, smart, incredible men and women in HR that have taught me and guided me. the textbooks, going beyond textbooks, there's only so much that you can learn from a textbook for sure. I mean, I read a lot, but uh, we'll get into that in a little bit further. There's not as you can't get the whole experience. It really needs to be in the moment, on the job learning, or in the moment talking to somebody in HR, learning from them directly. Um, Again, you need to be able to and willing to draw a hard line between friendship and management, which is not easy to do. And that story really, when I first walked into that first job, um, the HR generalist above me told me that, hey, like, are you really sure you want to be in HR? And I said, I mean, I think, but like, you're making me a little nervous. And she was like, well, you just got to be aware that I was in my mid-20s. And she said, you just got to be aware that you really can't sit with, people your age at the lunchroom, or you can't really chit chat with them about like the raging parties they went to last weekend because something might come out that could be a problem. You might say something that could be a problem accidentally, and you may need to fire that person tomorrow. So there's a really clear line that you have to draw, and it's not easy. But being aware of that and knowing that and starting to build out that line and keeping it strong as possible is the way to go, for sure. A few of my favorite HRisms. So I have one of my lead team members here as well, Rachel, and she's heard me say all of these many, many times. So there's no common sense in HR. Everyone says, oh, that should be common sense that you don't um, that you use the toilet properly, or like, that you show up on time. That should be common sense. There's no common sense in HR. So don't expect someone to know something because you think it's common sense. People are notoriously unpredictable. This was one that was given to me from my HR director in my first job. And this is one that he would say all the time. And he said this within my first few days, just don't expect out of person A what you've seen out of person B. People are unpredictable. Getting comfortable, being uncomfortable, that is my ultimate one. That is for running a business. That is for being in HR. A lot of the things that we do are not easy to do, for sure. Terminations have never gotten easier. And again, when I was growing into this role, that I was being told that that once terminations aren't something that bothers you, you may need to continue into a different area or a different industry because they're tough. You're changing someone's life. You're changing their family's life, their future. So it's really important to keep all of those things in mind. The one on the left is a poster. I actually used to have that in my old office. So what we do is human resources. We are the unofficial lawyer, psychologist, event planner, teacher, peacemaker, detective, career planner, miracle worker, party planner. Anything that doesn't live in a specific area of the business lands on our lap usually. And the one on the right, which actually is another one of my favorite, is that we're not regular HR, we're cool HR. A lot of people have a thought of what HR has been over the past however long. We really want to turn that on its head. It's, HR is necessary for a business. HR is important. HR is not always fun. We want to make it fun, which is one of the things we tell our clients when we bring them in is, hey, you got to do HR. You might as well do it with somebody that makes you laugh and somebody that you get along with. So that is definitely something that we focus on when we bring on new clients. Mapping out your HR career path. So the problem here, obviously, is no one wants to hire you with no HR experience, and you can't get experience without being hired. So that's a conundrum here. So SHRM eventually actually just recently came out. We have a couple of apprentices at our company as well, with an HR apprenticeship program. So that is a great way to really get involved. Is HR truly for you? Do you enjoy a challenge daily or do you not? And again, there's no right or wrong answer here. It's just, this is how you can really tell if HR would be a good fit for you. You like working with all kinds of people. You get fired up being part of something bigger than you at a growing business and guiding that growth, which is what we do at each company that we work with. Okay. Working for yourself versus working in-house. So working for myself, I love to be a part of the process, a part of the solution. I love helping my clients figure out next steps when they're close to throwing a chair through the window. And I tell, my team sometimes the story is when I first started my company, and this is something that in the community is something that I'm going to be really working with with everyone. However, if you're an independent HR consultant, we're going to be building out a course for you about the do's and don'ts. So you can learn what I've learned over the past 10 years in a much quicker time with less tears and sweat and money. So that's something coming down the line. But I mean, when I first started out, common sense, again, I only had my cell phone number. So sometimes I'll have team members tell me how, they're kind of stressed out. things like that. And I just say, listen, if this is stressed out, that's a potential issue, because when I first started the company, every client had my cell phone and they could call me whenever they wanted, and they would. And we had a different pricing structure at that point. So it was crazy. So my first piece of advice there is, if you are an independent HR consultant, get a virtual mailbox, get a Google number to start. We obviously have a higher level phone system at this point, but that's a great place to start. Do not put your personal address out there. Do not put your personal cell phone number out there. Big no-go, big problems. In-house HR, I just didn't feel as if my thoughts and ideas were given as much weight as working for myself as a consultant in a consultant capacity. In the sense that I felt like sometimes I was there just to say that HR was there. And I've had some experience in the past where, I've worked for a couple of different companies as I've grown my career, and I would help with the interviewing, obviously. And I had a business owner, he had 80 or so employees at three different locations. And he would go into these interviews and ask the craziest, most illegal questions. And I was there. So he would say, that's great. I mean, are you having children, or are you pregnant, or oh, you have kids, so is that going to be a problem, like getting to work, or what kind of car do you drive? Like things like that you just don't ask. There's ways to get information that are not directly offensive and potentially against the law. Every time we would leave those meetings, I would say, hey man, you can't ask those questions. Like that could be a major problem. You can get an EOC charge, or it can turn into a lawsuit. He'd say, I'm fine, it's good. In my head, all I was thinking that whole time was, this isn't great, because if some of those things happen, they're going to say, who is the HR person that you are working with? And they're going to name me, and I'm going to end up and going down with the ship, end up in a lawsuit. So that was something that really didn't feel good to me. It didn't do it for me. So really making a difference for our clients and helping them through each step is something that I love to do. The clients that we work with are excited to have HR on board and learning from them. They're setting themselves apart because they are learning from not only us, but we work with many, many companies. So we bring all of that collective knowledge, years of experience, different industries into what we build with our clients. So that's a really cool opportunity. Okay. So why I chose to work with small businesses. I moved to Tulsa, Oklahoma. I started my company, many, many small businesses there, and they were just such nice people. They still are. I still have some great friends from Tulsa. Shout outs to Tulsa people. I see you guys in here. And I noticed that many of them had nothing to support their growth. They had, I would say, who does your payroll? And they would say, oh, my mom runs my payroll, which is great. And I was like, that's great. Who does your HR? They're like, yeah, my mom, she runs my payroll. And I'm like, okay, well, there's just a little bit of lack of education, because a lot of small businesses started out as, Johnny was a painter. He became the best painter in town. He now has 35 employees, and HR is so nothing he's ever thought about before. So it's really important to help them. I wanted to help them. I wanted to guide them. I wanted to provide support for them, because there just is not enough support for companies of those sizes. And we do really individual, hands-on, intimate, hands-on work with these clients. So they learned the process, and they're excited to do the right thing. So flexibility. So we get to work with, like I said, different size companies, different industries, headcounts, things like that. And that is something that I truly enjoy. I love learning about new industries. It's a different thing every day. Usually, some days it's quiet, but not usually. They know that they don't know it all. That's the thing. And they're willing to ask for help, like myself with my growing business. I know I don't know it all, for sure. And I built this business, and, I always have questions. And that's why I hire experts and surround myself with people that have done it before, or people that are doing it as well. So people that are in HR, people that are, experts in operations, finance, things like that, that I just want to learn enough. And then I want to hire an expert to handle it for me. So that's similar to what we do in HR. And again, there's just not enough resources in HR. So I have a note over here about less red tape. There's less red tape at small businesses. So we can decide on trying something and give it a few weeks. If it doesn't work, cool, try something new. When you have 3,000 employees, it's very, very difficult for you to get through the red tape to even try the first process. And then if it doesn't work, you have to rework it and then go again through this red tape of 10 levels. So flexible, our clients are coachable, they want to learn. So couple stories. So HR is fun, I'm telling you. You would never think that. I never thought HR was fun. I mean, even when I first learned about it, I'm like, those people kind of sound mean. It's a great example. So don't make your Wi-Fi password sexy. These are things that, again, you would think are common sense. And I had a client out, middle of Oklahoma. If they're on here, you know who you are. And they picked me up. They told me to park at a gas station, which I did. And there's only one gas station in this town. They picked me up in their big truck. They drove me to their office, which was out there. And that was the first time that I realized Red Dirt Road was like a thing, not just in a song. So we finally get there and we're in a room and it's me and, 7 or 8 big husky men. And they're all laughing. They're all very nice guys. They're still some of my really good friends. And I asked for the Wi-Fi password. And they're all staring at each other and no one wants to give it to me. And eventually someone goes, oh, well, it's Big Donkey Dong 9. And yeah, that's it. And I was like, I'm sorry, what did you say? He's like, yeah, well, we were at a bar in Texas and it was so much fun. And like, we came up with it. And so we just made it that. And I was like, okay, so our first order of business is changing that, whatever you just said, Big Donkey Dong 9, to not that. Like, let's start with just password 123, and then we'll work backwards. So it's a good example of, things that happen every day that, they'll laugh with you. You laugh with them. You tell them why things are not okay and what could happen out of those. And they're coachable and they want to do the right thing. So, story number 2, you can't fire a medical assistant who can't take blood pressure per the DOL. So we were working with a client. They were in the medical industry. They had hired a girl prior to working with CYB. They did not really have a job description for any positions, things like that. And I get a phone call. This actually is what started our engagement, because they said that, that this girl was kind of saying crazy things and she was going to, come after them from unemployment or file a charge and all of these things. And so they get on the phone with unemployment and the person on the phone, and again, it could be a good day, it could be a bad day. Like the person making that decision, it could be, maybe their cat got run over that day and it was really awful and they don't care about anything you're saying and they're just going to give it to the employee. On the other side of that, it's you're the business owner or you're the manager, the HR, you are the big bad person. And this is a poor, sad employee. So most likely, unless you have all of your T's crossed and I's dotted, then you are most likely going to end up in a situation like this. Again, I'm the big bad business owner. So unless I do all those things, they're going to say, you can't be naive. So anyway, end of this story, they fired this girl. They had coached her, they had trained her, they had done everything for months, and she couldn't take blood pressure, which again, back to common sense, you'd think a medical assistant would know how to take blood pressure. However, because on her job description, there was nothing about any of these things, taking blood pressure being one of them. There was nothing that was broad enough to say this is included, so other tasks as assigned, things like that. So this woman won. So the woman that couldn't take blood pressure as a medical assistant won the unemployment, which really ticked off the client. So for sure, again, it's the client before they started working with us. So then when we went in, and our first order of business was obviously, let's focus on job description projects, so this doesn't happen again. But they were a lot of fun to work with. Again, you're on here, it's so much fun working with you. We enjoy you a lot. Okay. The best way to advance your career in HR. Options here: HR certification, real life experience versus reading a book, and how to fast track your HR career. These things are all different for everybody, depending on, what your long-term goal is. Or is your long-term goal to work in-house as an HR generalist forever, and you love that, and you love working at small business in-house? That's awesome. That's one track. The other track is, you want to start your own in HR consultancy. So that's going to take a little bit of a different path and requirements. Real life experience versus reading it in a book. So reading it in a book will not teach you how to sit in a room terminating an employee while they cry and throw their phone at you. Okay. So reading a book is fantastic. I love to read. However, it's not going to explain every little nuanced situation that you're going to come across, like that one, for example. We like to be the buffer in terminations in HR. I was taught younger that, being the one delivering the news and having the manager just sitting there is not great, because now the employee is looking at both of you and you're both the bad guy. So we urge our managers to deliver the news. We're present on those virtually. And then if it starts to spiral out of control, we step in. So we're still the kind of the good guy in that situation. And we want to be able to support the employee, make sure things stay on track. Fast tracking your HR career. So you need to hear it from those who have done it and then have an opportunity to do it yourself. So soaking up everything like a sponge. I've talked to so many people. People will reach out to me on LinkedIn, different platforms, in person, and they'll just say, they want to know if they should get their master's in HR, or what is the most important part of the process. And I say, how many years of experience do you have in HR? Like real life working experience? And they'll say 0. They're like, we'll just get my master's and I'd like to get a job. My experience, in my opinion, is that the experience is more important in this field. If you have a couple years of experience, you have a, associate's degree or a bachelor's degree, and you're an awesome person, you're quick, you're easy to work with, you have 7 years of experience in HR, 5 years of actual real life experience, that candidate is more exciting to me than a candidate with 0 HR experience and all these degrees and things like that. Because like I said, sitting in a room when an employee is crying and cursing at you and like throwing things at you, I mean, you need to know how to handle that. Just, you can't learn that from a book. So that's just my opinion there. So why do we need an HR community at all? So supporting each other in a safe space. I remember being, as part of a team in HR, and then I was a party of one. So being a party of one in HR, or an independent HR consultant on your own without a team, is not easy. It is so stressful. You don't have the help and the guidance or the places to go. Like, I get to speak with my team members on a regular basis, and we get to brainstorm ideas, and we trust each other. Obviously, we have confidentiality clauses with the team and the clients and all that. So we can really talk about all of these things. And it's really important to have those people with me. So we have different opinions, different viewpoints, different experiences, and a way to find the best solution, best experience for our client. And we can do it as a team. Camaraderie, networking, and collaborating with others that get it. I say this all the time. I love sharing my business stories and my experiences with my family, my friends, and they all love me and they're so proud of me and they support me. But a lot of that time, I'll say something and they're like, that's great. And I'm like, no, like, what's your opinion on the actual situation? What would you do? Stuff like that. A lot of times, obviously, they are not able to answer those questions because they have not experienced HR. They don't work in HR. So being around people that get it and understand both the law and how situations can differ, and answering the right questions, it's a game changer. It was a game changer for me. Learning and knowledge sharing, experiencing HR from diverse backgrounds. Again, super important to be able to understand, different industries and different backgrounds and how to handle specific situations. Let's see, community atmosphere and culture. Always, I've been getting messages for years about how important an HR community is, and that there's just not one out there available for everybody, and that they feel it would be really important. And since I've started working on this here recently, I've gotten some really awesome feedback, because I just want new friends. I want new networking connections. I just want people that I can laugh with and experience the ups and downs and the highs and the lows of being in HR, which there are a lot. Tools and resources, and a non-judgmental space to contribute, learn, and laugh. So, some days HR is amazing and you are so happy and you've solved 12 problems in the first 2 hours and you are kicking butt. And then the next day you're pulling your hair out and you're like, why did I do this? Why did I choose this career? It's really rough. So there we go. That's it. Let's see. My HR community that I'm building. And I think Rachel is going to drop into the chat here the form. So that's the pre-launch waitlist form. If you have not filled that out, please check it out. Either way, I'd love your feedback. It has a lot of questions about, in a perfect world, what would your HR community look like? It really takes your feedback into account, because we are building this community for you. So the first 100 members are the official founding members, which we'll get into the next slide. But they are going to be the official founding members, and they're going to receive a lot of benefits from being those founding members alongside me. So collaborative learning opportunities with seasoned HR experts, support and guidance for lower level HR assistants, those just entering the field, those just interested in HR, live Q&A sessions and chats with myself and my CYB team to tackle your burning questions. So we'll have some chit chats, HR chit chats, grab a coffee, let's hang, get to meet each other and know each other on a bi-weekly basis. Networking events, a supportive environment to share experiences, access to potential job opportunities. So this was a great feedback. This is one of the feedbacks I got on one of the forums here over the past few weeks, was having a career area, which I love, because this opportunity is you're getting to know all of these people in the community, and you probably will hit it off with a lot of different people there. But if they're knowing that you're looking for a job, there's an area where they're able to post a position. They've already spent time with you. They already like your vibe. You're a great fit for the role. It's just going to be a really simplified process for how to find your next HR position. Let's see. Sense of camaraderie and understanding, knowing you're not alone in the challenges of HR. That's really huge. So that's the most important part there. So lots of words on this next slide. I apologize. I'm going to read through this generally for you. So join us today. I'm super excited. These are all of the things that really every single day are things that I am motivated by and excited with. And I mean, this is the next step there. And I'm so excited to have so many of you alongside me. So as I said, founding members, we're officially launching on Monday. Yay. And the first 100 subscribed members will be forever my founding members. But the price point for you will be $47 a month. So it'll never be that low again, for sure. Or available to future members. You'll be receiving priority access to all fun items we have in store for this community as we grow. So really, you'll be my priority team as we continue to grow this community. So I'm excited to see you guys. You can expect outlined. I'm going to just read through this. So bi-weekly coffee chit chats, regular training calls with me and my CYB team. Let's see. Connecting with other experts in our industry. We're going to have some special guests come in and speak regularly. I want to get requests from you guys as to what specific types of speakers you'd like to have in there. And I have a great network. I'm able to reach out to those and get them involved. So I have people already listed that are really excited to present in this community to you all. Okay, free resources, templates, guidance on the usage of them. That's the big part there is so you may have a template for a standard operating procedure. You've never built one before. This is the right place to do it. So we can help you build it out. We can show you how to do it. So if you're an HR assistant in a company and don't know how to do that properly, you hop in and we'll help you all do that correct. Okay, opportunities space. Like I said, all the HR career opportunities where all HR roles can be, a question and answer hub, an HR Chronicles hub, where I want to hear all of your stories from HR, the funny stories, like for example, the Wi-Fi password craziness that I told, and eventually I want to write a book. So whoever's in this group is going to have the first opportunity to contribute to this book about how wild and fun and crazy HR can be every single day. So again, if you want to be one of the founding members or you're just interested in learning more, again, I'd love to have your feedback from the questions that are provided in that form. So please complete that form and join us. We're going to work together and build a really cool community and opportunity for all people in HR. So we're really pumped. I've gotten a ton of questions and I am going to, a lot of those questions were things that I think are going to be handled in the HR, in the actual HR community, but some things that I can kind of touch on here, and I can give you some examples of things that have been asked and things that will be covered in the community. So interested in HR best practices, learning platforms, labor law and compliance, all of those things we'll be updating you guys on, and we can talk through any of these. Career, how do I advance my career in human resources? Wanting to grow, learning how to get verified certificate through the online webinar. So we are actually in the process of becoming SHRM certified as a provider. And what that means is if you are SHRM certified, that eventually you'll be able to get recertification credits for the community, potentially the courses that we're offering and things like that. Wanting to learn more about HR, transition of your career and wanting to be knowledgeable and learn from HR experts that are already there. Let's see, HR dynamics, technology development, things like that. One of these was about how I set my pricing for my company. That is definitely something we will cover in the in our community for sure. So if you are an individual HR consultant just starting out, maybe you have a team, whatever, you're struggling with the pricing, those are things that I'll be able to personally help you with and kind of do a little research and show you how I did it as well. So with 10 years, how to get into HR with 10 years of office work experience and a bachelor's in psychology. Well, you have work experience, so that's a great place to start. And then this is really the next step, is learning more about HR and seeing if it's for you. Let's see. This was the how to charge clients. How do you deal with a bully boss in-house? This is not the first time I've seen this, and that's really, really sad. And this is in human resources. So we will definitely cover that for sure. We'll be able to give you some suggestions and maybe some ways to approach the situation. Let's see, actively looking for career progression, HRIS, workforce performance, recommended sources do we use besides SHRM? Again, we're going to build those out and you'll be able to use any of those. Let's see. What's next in HR? So that part of it, do I need a certification? Doesn't matter. Again, it depends on the career path that you're planning. Performance versus appraisals, KPIs, building that out as well. So these are just some of the questions that we've gotten already, and those things will be, again, covered inside the HR community. And I'm really hoping that you guys will be joining us. So let me see, one sec. I'm reading one of your questions. Okay, this is a great one. So I have a question here. I have a background in security for private companies and government contracts. I have a lot of experience de-escalation and talking with many different people. I've advised companies in legalities and do not want to do something that will get us sued. Would this count as experience? And for someone like me who wants to get into HR, how would you recommend the best way to get into the HR field? This, yes. So this would absolutely count as experience. In my experience, obviously we're not providing a job up front, but as I mentioned before, our goal is to be certified to be able to provide HRCI credits. So that's a big deal once you're getting certified. For someone like you who wants to get into HR, this is perfect because you are going to have the experience of learning all areas of HR, all backgrounds, things that, you never even knew were HR experience is HR. So yes, for sure. And the best way to get into the HR field, again, learning from experts, joining the community, spending time chit-chatting, joining coffee chit-chats, and just asking questions. I think that being around other people in HR is super beneficial and is something that would absolutely assist you in this process. So wonderful. Okay. Any other questions that I can answer right now? A lot of these are great questions. And again, we're going to be going through this all the whole time. In the chat, again, is the pre-launch form. I invite you all to, if you have not yet, complete that pre-launch form and give me your feedback as to what you would love in a community, where you are and in your experience and your background and what's next for you. I'm really excited to hear all those things. Again, we're launching on Monday. I'm so excited and I'm really hoping to see a lot of you all there. That's it for now. So I appreciate you all visiting and joining. We'll be sending some follow-up emails after this as well. And I really hope to see you all there. So thank you for joining again. I'm an attorney, another question, and I'm going to handle HR for my husband's new business. Would you recommend receiving SHRM certification? Again, this is going to be lots of information I would need for this. So this is something that we're going to go through in the community for sure. I can talk with you one-on-one about this. How big is the company? What industry is the company in? And you'll learn, and this is a great question to ask in the, different areas and networking lounge that we have, is this exact question, because I can't answer this question by myself with not enough information, but there may be somebody else in this exact same situation that can say, hey, this is what I did. This was important. But I also think that you'll learn a lot from being in the community. And I think that will help you make that decision. But again, I think everybody who is SHRM certified has a reason they got SHRM certified, and they'll be able to tell you that and share it. So that's a great question. I'm excited to hear from you. I hope you join the team. So for sure. Any other last minute questions here? I appreciate it. You guys have been awesome. Again, launch form is in the chat. Thank you for being here today with me. And I am really hoping to see you guys all on Monday. So have a great rest of your day, and we will chat soon. Thank you so much.